So the story of Golden Axe is that Death Adder has stolen the titular Golden Axe and is threatening to destroy it if the kingdom does not recognise him as their new king. But Gilius Thunderhead is clearly carrying a golden axe in the arcade version of the game, so clearly we all need to recognise Gilius as the king of Uria and the absolute best character in Golden Axe. I love you, Gilius! Golden Axe for the Master System is a port that reeks of compromise. We've seen beat-em-ups on the Master System before, and more often than not they suffer from sprite limitations, a lot of flicker when too many sprites are on screen, and an overall lack of impact to the combat. You see, the Master System has severe limitations when it comes to sprites. Sprites can only be drawn very small, which means that games with large sprites always suffer visually as the whole game has to be redrawn to accommodate the smaller scale of the graphics. However, the Master System version of Golden Axe was not going to abide by that limitation and goes for a different graphical approach. All of the graphics in this game are drawn on the game's background layer. This means the graphics can be pieced together in 8x8 tiles, and when grouping together a few carefully drawn tiles, they can simulate the look of a much larger sprite and still maintain their interactive qualities. As a result, you get a game that looks far more striking than stuff like Dynamite Ducks or Alien Storm that choose sprites for their characters. Everything is now a lot more comparable to its arcade and Mega Drive brethren in terms of size and scale. Sure, there's a clear loss of overall colour to this game as a result of being on the Master System, but character art of this scale is rarely seen on the console, and the game has to be commended for trying something like this for a game that features so much on-screen action with a lot of different characters. Unfortunately, there's a big hit to performance as a result of this choice. The game does not scroll smoothly, and everything feels very juddery and unresponsive as a result. The combat feels imprecise and is entirely lacking in impact, which is a huge issue for a beat-em-up. It just isn't fun to hit things in Golden Axe, and more often than not, it's very difficult to tell if you are actually hitting things. The game also sees the playable roster drawn back from 3 to 1, with Tarek being the only playable character. Tarek looks like Axe Battler, but for whatever reason he's renamed in this port. The game tries to make up for this by giving Tarek free reign of the 3 magic types from the base game, but obviously you don't get to fight as Tyrus or Gilius as a result, and I will not stand for this dwarf erasure! Where's my dwarf? Once again, we've also lost multiplayer functionality, which also means that this is a single player only affair. This kills a lot of the appeal of a good beat-em-up because they're always more fun with a friend. Yes, Golden Axe does look impressive for a Master System game, but I think the compromises unfortunately let the game down more than the developer intended. The game has unsatisfying combat, a lack of colour, choppy scrolling, and no multiplayer. If the developer used the traditional sprite setup like Dynamite Ducks, Alien Storm or Streets of Rage, and just redrew the whole game at a smaller scale, then maybe they could have added a little more colour and visual variety to the game while also maintaining smoother scrolling for a better experience. The game has to be commended for at least reproducing all 5 stages from the arcade original. I have to give Sega props for releasing this alongside the Mega Drive port and making sure Master System owners didn't feel left out, but this is not the best way to experience Golden Axe at home, and the Mega Drive version also featured some exclusive new stages as well. The compromises are just too noticeable in this port, and it drags an enjoyable if brief little arcade beat-em-up into a sludgy, unresponsive single-player disappointment.